Hello, and welcome back to the Thecrimereel. Firstly, to all of you who are celebrating the season, a big Merry Christmas. And I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who has supported my channel so far. From previous comments, I know that a lot of you are working over the festive season, so I hope you managed to enjoy your Christmas as much as possible. Also, I know many of you don't celebrate Christmas, but I truly hope you enjoy this video and the crimes detailed in it anyway. As you can probably guess, I am fascinated by true crime stories, and I'm very grateful for the positive feedback, constructive criticism, and story ideas that many of you have taken the time to post. I spend a great deal of time researching and writing my narrations to make sure that I retell the stories as fairly and accurately as possible. So it is great to have a channel where I can share this with others. Anyway, today's story is a little bit different to usual. For this week only, I have decided to narrate 7 small, slightly less serious Christmas-related crime stories, which I hope you will all enjoy. Don't worry if you don't like this style as much. I shall be returning to my normal crime narrations next week. Ohio, Christmas 2011. A 44-year-old man by the name of Terry Trent, who had a history of drug charges, was high on bath salts, a type of drug similar to amphetamine. In his drug-induced state, he broke into a home in Dayton, Ohio, through a back door. However, he did not take a thing. Instead, he made himself comfortable, carefully arranged, then lit some Christmas candles. He hung a Christmas wreath on the garage door and settled down to watch television. When he was discovered by the 11-year-old son of the homeowner, he was very polite, immediately apologised for scaring the boy, and said he would leave straight away. The boy called his mother, who was next door, and the police soon arrived. Terry was arrested without incident. Ontario, Christmas 2012. A 24-year-old man from Kingston, Ontario, was really not feeling the Christmas spirit when he decided that it was a good idea to shape his hair into devil horns and attend the Santa Claus parade. Walking along the parade route, he thought that it was appropriate to shout obscenities at those waiting for the parade to start, before telling all of the small children gathered that Santa Claus does not exist. After ruining the magic of Christmas for many of the youngsters present, he was finally stopped by police. He was arrested and charged with causing a disturbance, public intoxication, and breach of probation. No charges were brought for the devil horn hairstyle. Colorado, Christmas 2014. Every morning in December, 42-year-old Carrie Carley's husband, 18-year-old Jeremy Lou Allen, would return to their home with a couple of new Christmas decorations. Carrie claims to have suspicions as to where the decorations were coming from, as Jeremy had been jailed in November for stealing Halloween decorations. Having not fully thought through his plan, Jeremy stole over $2,000 worth of decorations from his neighbours. He was reported to police when one of his victims saw his own Christmas lights in a display in Carrie and Jeremy's garden. When Jeremy was confronted about the stolen decorations, he laughed and said he was just doing his job. Jeremy was sentenced to 6 months in jail with 6 years probation. The decorations were returned to their owners, thankfully. Sao Paulo, Brazil, Christmas 2015. Whilst many in Brazil were busy at the Black Friday sales making a start on their Christmas shopping, a man dressed in a full Santa Claus costume arrived at Campo de Marte airport. Santa rented a helicopter from an air taxi service, telling the pilot that he was hiring it as a Black Friday treat for himself. During the flight, Santa pulled a weapon on the pilot and forced him to fly to a small farm on the outskirts of Sao Paulo. Here they were met by Santa's accomplice, who was not thought to have been one of his elves, where the pilot was tied up and the pair made their getaway in the stolen helicopter. After several hours of struggling, the pilot managed to break free and notified the police. A search was soon in operation, but no sign of the helicopter, Santa, or his accomplice have ever been found. Winnipeg, Canada, Christmas 2004. Shortly before Christmas in 2004, 31-year-old Jason Shinkarik returned to his home in Winnipeg only to find that thieves had broken in through his back door. Luckily, his wife and children were not home at the time, but the thieves had combed through the house, stealing several of Jason's duffel bags, which they filled with clothes, jewellery, watches, alcohol, and all of the presents from under the tree. The heartbroken family reported the robbery to police that evening and started to plan how they were going to sort their Christmas with all of their gifts stolen. The following morning, Jason made the 10-minute drive to go to work as a manager of Pawn de Rosa Trading. What started as a normal day soon held quite a twist. 3 men walked into the pawn shop carrying 3 large duffel bags full of random items, which Jason immediately recognised as his own. One of the thieves was even wearing the tracksuit that Jason had bought as a Christmas gift for his brother. Jason played along for a while to check that the contents of the bags were in fact his, and then activated a switch that closed a gate inside the store, meaning that no one could escape. After grabbing a baseball bat for defence, he asked where the rest of his things were, to which the man in the tracksuit said he would go and track them down if Jason agreed not to press charges. Jason agreed to let him leave so that he could get the rest of the stolen goods, as long as his accomplices were left behind. After a short while, the man in the tracksuit called back to say that he couldn't get the rest of the items, and then fled. The 2 accomplices were arrested. Eventually, after 3 more robberies, the man in the tracksuit was apprehended and found to be Alphonse Traverse, a local man who was out on parole for manslaughter. His parole was revoked and he returned to prison. Florida, Christmas 2014. 30-year-old Tara Scott and 27-year-old Gerard Dupree felt that they had come up with the perfect crime in order to steal a Barbie motorised car and a Barbie glam vacation house. They visited Walmart in Lake Wales, Florida, and loaded the items into the trolley before heading to the exit separately. Once they approached the exit, with acting definitely not worthy of an Oscar, Gerard slowly and carefully collapsed to the floor whilst clutching his chest. As employees and security went to his aid, Taras walked out of the store with the trolley full of goods. After seeing Taras exit and spending little more than a few seconds on the floor, Gerard makes a miraculous recovery, stands up and strolls out of the store. The men then meet at their vehicle and drive away thinking they had got away with their crime. Unfortunately for them, their entire charade was captured on CCTV cameras, and they were both soon arrested and charged with theft. And now for the last story. California, Christmas 2015. Diners and staff at a Monterey branch of Buffalo Wild Wings got slightly more than they bargained for in Christmas 2015. Whilst enjoying their dinners, a man walked into the restaurant and, despite his black beard and a lack of red suit, claimed to be Santa Claus. He then walked around to tables, telling the diners he had a gift for them, before handing out little parcels of marijuana wrapped in napkins to everyone eating at the diner. He then stuffed the tip jar full of the then illegal drug and sat down to eat. The police soon arrived at the scene, where they searched Santa's belongings and found more than 2 pounds of pre-packaged pot. 57-year-old Randy Lange was then arrested and charged with furnishing marijuana. I hope you've enjoyed my narration of these stories today. Just to let you all know that we'll now be taking a short break, so I won't be around to answer your comments for the next few days. My next video, in my usual style, will be uploaded next Wednesday on New Year's Day, so hopefully you will join me in 2020. Until then, sending you all very best wishes for a happy and healthy 2020. Thank you to all you wonderful, wonderful crime reelers. If you have any Christmas stories as well, please comment down below. Thank you once again for listening to the Thecrimereel. Goodbye. Psst. My favourite Christmas film is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Also comment down below what your favourite one is too. Merry Christmas. Goodbye.